From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Happy New Year, everyone. It's Caroline Gant.
Hey, Happy New Year, everyone. Austin Lowen.
Happy New Year. Tyler Blankenship.
We made it. We're here, 2025.
Here we come.
Here we are.
Here we are.
We're coming
Here
for
we
you.
come, and here we are.
That's right. It's January 1st, and man, what do we have to talk about?
Well, looking ahead.
That's right.
We made resolutions on Saturday.
We did.
So
We all did.
And I don't quite remember what mine was.
Really? You can't just say a resolution and then forget it.
I do remember what mine was.
What was
Never
it?
mind.
Let's recap.
It was to not let my eyes get bigger than my stomach.
That's a good, yeah.
To not be buying a bunch of plants before I have planted the plants I already have in their homes.
And that's a great resolution, especially for you.
Thank you. It is. It's very hard working here at the nursery, especially in the spring when we're getting all these beautiful plants that are coming fresh off the truck, all these new items, and I see them and I want them.
Yeah, y'all, plant people out there. If you've never worked at a nursery, you don't actually know what it's like to have to work at a big, big nursery like this. Just like Caroline said. Like,
it's like
torture.
Christmas
it's
every
like
day.
torture. Yeah, it kind of is. You're
Every
like,
week.
A beautiful torture.
You know, the people that spend the most money at Bates Nursery is Bates Nursery employees.
Oh, yeah.
Every
by far.
year, it is consistent. Like, there's a reason for that. Plants just draw you in.
Yeah, we all
Steal
love
all your
plants.
money.
That's why we're working here. So we spend all of our money here
Yep.
as well. That's okay. But I'm going to try to stick true to that resolution.
Good. Tyler, what was your resolution? Recap for us.
Front yard focus. My front yard needs more attention. I don't know if I'm going to be redoing beds or just adding more. I know I've talked to y'all about this last year about getting some maybe abelia or something in that next to my sidewalk, my entrance in the front yard. And I'd like to make it more of a vision rather than just an eclectic kind of like, here's a plant, there's a plant, everywhere, a plant.
I like that, Tyler.
I will say mass plantings are better than single.
Yeah.
Because I did single plantings for a long time.
Well, yeah, last year I did that line of switchgrass. I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like
It's going to be great.
in spring when it starts poking through. And then I haven't even had the opportunity to get the creeping time for that yet, which Austin suggested should be at the bottom. So, you know, I have to basically rest on my laurels, sit on my heels until that comes in.
Nice.
February, March.
Yep.
It's such a good point you just brought up, Tyler. Like, when it comes to the design element of a bed and like having a vision, like you said a little bit, like, yeah, hey, I'm all about people growing a variety of plants, like certainly, you know, but when you do want that kind of front yard to have that vision, have that little bit of cohesiveness, I guess you should say, then like Caroline said, like you got to buy more numbers of the same plant rather than more plants of different varieties.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that. I mean, it's hard when you come into a candy shop of plants and you see anything you
You want one of all the things that you like.
Exactly. And then you get it home and it's just like you threw it up in the front and it's just like, whoa, this is random. So
Wow. Other than corn is a tasselin, that might have been one of the most profound things you've ever said in front of me.
yeah.
Corn is a tasselin. Nothing will ever beat corn as a tasselin, though.
Anyway, well,
But once I started planting like that, like I've got that with switchgrass, boxwoods, hydrangeas, it really is a game changer. It really like pulls your landscape together.
it's so good. Yeah. And then you find those random spots where you have holes, you know, once you finish that. Because we're always still working. We're never done with our landscapes. Y'all know, y'all are plant people out there. Like, you can always want to add to your beds a little bit. Even if you have a baseline bed, things happen. You know, some things may die. Some things you're just tired of. Some things you want to move to a better spot, or it's not in a great spot in the first place. You just chose it wrong and it was bad. So then you've got, you know, other times where you finished your bed or you thought you did and you're like, I could get something there. Like, there's still a hole there. Like, that's where you can find those pops of like a cool feature plant. You know, that's where you fit and work those in or whatever. So that's my thoughts anyway.
And you can still be like me and get a bunch of random plants. I
Of
still
course.
do that. I don't want y'all out there to think like I've gone by the way of Austin
Yeah.
I only do uniform gardening. That's not true at all.
Definitely not. It's not like that. It's just that even if you're doing, though, like a random perennial cottagey feeling garden, which is awesome, like colors everywhere,
It's still my favorite way to garden.
whimsical blooms and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all great. But still, like starting with those ones you love the most. And instead of just getting, like, say you love Catmint, like, don't just get one. Get 10 and start with that.
Yes.
You know, that's how you started. And then you find the second thing you like the most and get 5 of those, like, you know, and dot them in throughout the bed. It can still be a little bit random, but the numbers just make it. Now, I know we're not all made of money, obviously. You
But
know,
start small. That's what I do.
Yeah, but just like, even when you do that cottage bed, like, that's still the way to go about it, if you will.
Perfect.
That makes sense?
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. I mean, you could leave little holes in that process,
Yeah.
like you were saying, and then go back and fill in with different things.
Yeah, and then get to know your garden. You know, you can always say here in Middle Tennessee, if y'all, you know, we have a lot of plants that can go kind of gross, you know, at times in the season. So, you know, you can use stuff that you know are going to get kind of tired by the end of the season or whatever. Say like bulbs or something, daffodils, tulips, something like that. Something you could literally, you know, get rid of come like late summer, and then you have something else that's there, you know, replacing it for the rest of the fall or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know.
Take your time getting into your beds. That's what I've learned. Take your time gardening. But Austin, what is yours? We've talked about me and Tyler.
That's right. Mine was to grow more fruit at my house.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah,
Yes.
you need to.
I know I don't have a lot of like berry things or like, you know, actual fruit trees or whatever. Like, you know, I grow a big garden every year and that takes a lot of my effort. And the kids really like to go out there and do it and pick it with me, and that's all great. But I don't have a lot of I need blueberries, you know? I need blackberries, I need
So-
raspberries.
What would be your first one to put in the
Serviceberry?
ground? If you
Oh,
were
by
gonna go and
far.
do it?
Peach tree. And no, Tyler, I will not grow a service berry.
Really?
No. I know
Wow.
everybody loves service
You
berry.
talk
I'm
'em
mad.
up.
You do talk them up.
I'm mad
I
at
think
service
this is
berry.
the first time I've ever heard you say you wouldn't grow a service berry.
I don't want no service berry in the yard.
Why? Because of the birds?
Yeah, they just steal them all and then I'm furious.
And then I'm furious. You got to get out there and get some before the birds.
What if you put the service berry there to distract the birds, and then you get your blueberries?
But what if it brings too
Hassle-free.
many birds and then they eat everything?
Yeah, then it'll be a
true.
movie scenario. The birds are
The
all
birds.
coming in. I
Bird
can't
greed.
have that. Yep. But no,
I
if
love service berry. I want to plant one.
they're okay, but it's like the fruit's just like, it's okay.
I love the service berry.
Now we're
fruit.
really learning what Austin.
We're going
likes.
deep now. Yeah, we're learning new things along with our listeners. We're all learning.
Service berry doesn't have enough sugar content to be good by itself.
That's
can-
not true. Tyler and I stood back on the lot one day and we had service berry trees that, I mean, I'm telling you guys that are listening, like completely covered in fruit. Covered.
Autumn Brilliance.
So us eating them was not a big deal, but we stood back there talking about nursery stuff, just snacking on service berries. And it was great. It's a memory that will stay with me till the end of time.
we probably ate like, what,
A lot.
15 or 20 a piece?
Yeah. And you
I
couldn't
know.
even tell.
I don't even know.
You look mad.
Y'all were just happy you were eating fruit together. I don't think you actually
Well, that
liked it.
too. No, I loved it.
I liked
loved
it. We picked the brightest and juiciest ones because they were more flavorful. Maybe it's because, you know, some of them don't survive long enough to get to that point of ripeness. And these service berry trees were brought in, had fruit on them, and probably ripened, obscured by all the other trees on the tree lot.
No. Well, yeah, when they're good, I guess they're fine. It's just not. It's not a tree for me. If I was going to plant a fruit tree, very first one would be a peach. Y'all know I
You
love
get your
pruning
peach this year.
peaches.
We know, and you need your
You've
own to
talked
prune on.
so much about Red Haven peach and Alberta and
Contender.
Contender.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to grow one of those.
Uh-huh. I'd like to.
Yeah, so I would love to see you in practice.
Mhm.
What's going to happen?
I know.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I think, yeah, blueberry game needs to be up there too. Like, I need a line of blueberries for sure. I know the birds are going to like those too, and I got plenty of birds where I live, but I like blueberries, and their fall color is stunning.
They're really pretty. My blueberries didn't really produce this year, but the fall color on them still looked great.
That's the thing. If you don't even get a berry, the fall color rivals the fruit
Still
anyway.
worth
like
it.
it's so good. It is the most underused fruit bearing plant for ornamental purposes. What about that being profound,
Yeah,
Tyler?
there's that fact thrown right at you.
I like the other one better, but I can still agree with this.
Yeah. But in the fall, blueberries are great, so I need to do that too. So yeah, that was mine. Grow some more fruit.
Grow some more fruit. Those are all great.
They were good ones.
We
Oh.
all needed a little bit of plant resolutions in our lives, I think. I definitely do. I need to work on my, buying of the plants.
While Austin
planting
was
them.
talking earlier about beds, it made me think about, and I should have mentioned this last week, but a cool experiment to do would be marking where the shadows are falling on your property. You could just put a stake in the ground somewhere where I guess you could do it at midday,
Mhm.
and see where the shadows from your house or from any other shading structures or whatever, or even other trees are stopping, because we're not too far out from the shortest day of the year, and we're heading towards the longest day of the year. And then you can really see, like, when we're warm again and the sun is less to the south in the sky and it's more up overhead, really what you're working with and how much shade something would be getting in the winter.
Yeah.
How shady your environment would be for planting.
That's correct. But we've already hit the shortest day of the year, Tyler?
I know, I said it's already happened.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
thought
saying,
you said it's coming. I was like, what? Okay.
No, I'm saying since it is the shortest time of
Time
year.
of year. Got
The
it.
days are at their shortest point. They're getting longer
They're
now.
already getting longer, which is exciting.
That is exciting.
Yes.
Still have a ways to go.
Thrilling.
But I
know.
mean-
And we do.
It takes a while for it to get going, and then you really start noticing the difference around like March or April.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You do.
Anyway, just note that.
Yeah.
Just bookmark that right
Here I
there.
am throwing off all the other conversation.
No, you're not. My brain
great.
just got a little bit confused. I was like, wait a minute. The solstice has happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, it did.
Well,
It's just-
And you know what else happened?
what?
A great New Year's episode.
Yeah.
Podcast.
It was good.
I think it's about time to get on into it. What do y'all think?
I'll say.
I'll say.
That was weird.
Well, we had the whole team here for a special New Year's episode. So I hope you all enjoy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Likewise.
I can't believe the year is just about over.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So fast.
2024. I was like, what year is it? Flew by. I couldn't even remember what year it was. But let's get into some questions, shall we?
do it.
That's what everyone is here for.
That's what this year and weekly program is all about, is answering questions.
Correct. All right, suggestions on prepping a new flower bed this winter for next year.
You got to get that Earth Mix Supernatural.
Absolutely.
That's
where I'm going
true.
with. That's the compost blend that we make here. That's fantastic. Oh, and we talked about it last week where, I guess it was last week where we've got a new machine that homogenizes that mix so well and everything is so just packed together with nutrients. Lay that across the top
It
of the
is
dirt.
so
Just
soft.
let it start working.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter.
Well, how do you prep the bed? I mean, I think they're talking about like making a new one. Are you just
Oh,
gonna lay it
making
on-
it. Did I just not understand this question at all?
You didn't listen.
Already
I didn't
deleted
listen.
it.
New Year. You already deleted it?
Suggestions on prepping a new bed for the new year.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
new
are
bed.
you going to build the box? Are you going to put it on top of the ground, in the ground? I mean, there's all kinds of different possibilities.
And supernatural is still not a bad
Yes.
approach to that. I mean, you're adding organic matter, and you're also lots of endo and ectomycorrhiza fungi, humic acid, all the things that help.
Good
Then you
stuff.
might also wish to, increase the particulate matter that's in there. I like to start any kind of bed prep, particularly if you're making use of the existing native soil, is to physically get in there and break up that
Yes.
soil that's there first. If you've got grass on the top of it, strip that off if you possibly can, and then break up the soil. I do a two-part method personally, and I haven't done it in a while, but I still remember because I did it many thousands of times. And that is to take a shovel and turn it one shovel at a time the entire width and length of the bed. And that takes a while, but when you've got decent moisture, that works really well because it enables the tiller, which you'll be using in the next step, to really get in there and break that up into something that's really workable. And then you add your amendments on, rake those out evenly, and then till those into the soil. All that gives you the best opportunity to prepare your soil the very best. And if you do that right at the outset, and this is surprisingly, Austin, this is where a lot of people think, well, I don't know how they think they're going to do it later.
Really?
But this is your shot. You can't do soil prep after it's really tough to work around plants that are already there. It's a lot easier to just do it in advance, and then
And whether you've got a mantis tiller or a rear tine or a front tine tiller, I mean, it really helps at that tool. So I mean, if you can rent that, if you don't own one, it makes.
For most
easy
people, there's
work.
no reason to
Yes.
own one. You can just rent one, and that's plenty. And even a front tine tiller, just set your back knife down where it digs in enough
Yeah,
to
buddy.
be able to create enough drag so that it stays put, and you can kind of ease it along. It'll do a great job.
Absolutely.
But it's all about timing and having your soil moisture correct and doing enough digging in advance. Those tine blades are not tough enough on their own without doing some turning to the soil to physically
dig through it, because I mean it's turned to concrete in some cases, and if you wait,
or you've been walking over it and
Yeah.
it's gotten compacted, whatever. You've got to do something to begin the loosening process and make it so that the tiller has a chance to get it in its best form and be able to get those inputs, those other amendments that you're adding to it, incorporated with the soil, and that's really what you're going for.
and you'll find the roots with the tiller. I mean, that's
Oh, yeah.
that's, you're
They're
gonna find
there.
them. You're gonna find them.
They are there.
They are there. Yeah, I'm a big fan of just weed whacking,
Yep.
like all the way down, like scalping it. And I know it doesn't get rid of all the grass, but because I do a lot of wildflower beds and kind of let them go a little bit, that's what I'll do, and then kind of till up that top layer of soil.
Well, that black plastic, if you're going to have it in your house, this is the time to use it to kill that top layer. You just lay it down and then take it away, put it back in the shed, because it's not good for anything else.
That black plastic.
Yeah,
How would you
black-
prep
black-
your beds? Do you even do anything? I mean, I know you do.
He walks out there and says, "Okay, bed, get
You're
ready,
done.
Get ready.
get ready,
It's time.
because I'm getting ready to come at you."
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm the same way as y'all. Exactly what y'all just said. I mean, if I were going to create a new bed, I haven't done that in a while because my beds, I've got two, I was blessed with two great beds that were already prepped for me, and I just add to those. But I haven't really added a new bed. But yes, definitely scalping the earth. Black plastic works just fine. But get yourself down to dirt, turn it. Add your nutrients, like David said. Do it all first before you ever plant. Plus,
You
it makes it so much easier for you to dig and plant.
Yeah.
And if you do it right the first time, you don't have to go back in there and ever redo it. You might add some supernatural compost to the surface. You might.
Yeah.
That would.
But if you want to, the soil is already loose and you can easily incorporate that into it. You got to get that hard pan ground decompressed and decompacted.
Because this
to be
is a
able to make it
project
work.
for 2025 at the Proving Grounds.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if you guys have heard, but the aluminum above ground swimming area is going away.
Oh no!
Are you sad about
How
that?
would you
Not
live?
as sad as my bride. I can promise you that, or my youngest daughter.
I guess she used it a lot, huh?
Sure. But if you can imagine, folks, a 30-foot swimming pool round, I'm gonna have that area that is going to become the blank palette, and I don't know whether we're going to do some
But
hard
you're gonna have weed-free, sterilized
Yeah.
soil to work with.
all that sand.
Now, I will
Oh,
say
sand, yeah.
that I did that. I had a 30-foot across round above ground pool when I bought my house. I left it up for 2 years. I hated everything about it except
Thank
for
you.
swimming, but it was a lot of maintenance, and I was just like, it's not worth
Expensive.
it. So we took it down. We actually traded it for 2 lawn mows, and the person came and took the whole pool down. We didn't have to do anything.
Really?
And then I created a nice
Do they
fire
work
pit.
south of town? Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire pit in the middle, laid some flat, big rocks and stones around, and then put a garden bed on the outside.
Well,
and
the-
it was great.
In the urban area of the Smyrna, near historical district, because we're on the periphery of the historical
Yeah.
district. We're not in the historical district like some people at the table are. So I mean, you know how that overlay goes.
It's
I gotta get the input of the backdoor neighbor and the side neighbor, but it is going to be a target-rich environment for the nursery because we're going to have to find things that are going to go out there. I'm going to have new beds. I'm going to have raised planters. It's right near the garden. I
well,
don't know.
and for those of you who are watching and
I
you're
need a
thinking,
raise.
why is Tyler freaking out? Well, it's because we've got camera issues for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, you can still hear us, but it's like watching the the end of the year freeze frame edition
Freeze
of
frame.
Gardening Inside
That's
Out.
Jay Giles band, right?
It's a great photo that we
Oh,
have.
there
up
we
There you
though.
go. Now we're back to live video.
Oh,
Now we're
Caroline, your
frozen.
face is hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Sorry.
But I'm gonna
Now
have.
I got frozen. Okay.
We've got
You guys,
We've got full sun stuff.
I'm
We're
trying-
going to have shade in the afternoon. It's mornings. I mean, it's going to be just glorious. We're going to have to get rid of a deck as well as the swimming pool
It's
and a terraced area. Oh, it's just
that's what turning a new year leaf over the calendar is all about.
I'm
is
going to have the whole book turned
wiping,
over on this
wiping
thing.
Yeah.
away all of that old rubbish from the past and a new
That's right.
beginning.
I knew.
A new beginning.
I got
Beginning.
power out there. I could probably get water to it too. If I
You could do so many things.
Oh, it's going to be.
But y'all, we do have a lot more questions.
Yes,
well,
we
let's do it.
We've been talking about pools for a while. Are there any small evergreens for planter boxes that could survive the winter?
I hope
Oh
so.
Lord, yeah.
Gosh,
Like,
yes.
hundreds of options. Not hundreds, but there's options. Lots of options. We have some in the studio today. We got arborvitae, we got juniper right in front of us. Like those are super cold hardy plants for planters. And a lot of junipers have a spilling effect, which is nice. They can be kind of in the front of the planter. So they spill down and have a great look for your Christmas and New Year's season through the winter. And
What
then
can you hang on them?
Huh?
What can you put on them?
Christmas balls?
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about?
Because
Oh, yeah.
you've done that before.
Yeah, I have, and it's great. So, back row arborvitae, front row juniper, have a little mixed container conifer thing going on.
Those
and then
mop heads. That
the
we-
mops, and then in the spring, take them out, plant them in your yard.
Yeah.
And then put your petunias in them because that's what is needed.
Put your petunias in them. I've got some blue rug junipers in a pretty tall container that's in my landscape, and they've been in there for about 2 years. They look great. I mean, no maintenance whatsoever after I planted them, and Earth Mix Landscape was what I used for that container. But behind it, I do seasonal annuals. So I do pansies this time of year. Actually, I've got violas in there. And
That's
then
a
I'll
cute
plant
pot,
some.
right? Don't you have an aster in there? Is it aster with the blue rug?
Yes, there were asters, but they got powdery mildew, so they are
Gross.
no longer with us. I
Good.
pulled them out, and it was a little too late to plant pansies, but I tried violas. I don't know if they're going to take because we had some left, but we'll see.
They'll be fine.
They might be okay.
Yeah, they're going to be great. in the
But yeah,
spring.
I love my blue rug junipers in it. Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix Garden Products, creating regionally sourced high-quality soil blends and amendments for the sustainable-minded gardener. Fall and winter are great times to plant in the Southeast, and Earth Mix can help you with Landscape Soil Conditioner. Mix landscape with your native soil to feed all winter long. Added mycorrhizal fungi help your plants get established faster and increase hardiness through the year ahead. Visit earthmix.net for more information and retailers near you. Remember, success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products.
I'm going to do a different segment this
Are
week.
you?
Yeah,
You're
I'm asking y'all.
switching it up
I'm asking
every
y'all
single
questions.
week.
Is this
Yes.
is this the year end finale?
It's year end. I don't know if it's a finale. It's more of a question for y'all. So here we go. All right. What
So fast.
give a toot.
is everybody's gardening resolution for 2025?
I'm gonna tell you mine.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm gonna tell you mine right
David
off.
Bates' New
Mine
Year's gardening resolution.
is to make better use of the opportunity to use dormant oil
Hey.
while it's upon us. Guess what? Everything's dormant right now. So this is when you use dormant oil.
Uh-huh.
And it is for the money and for the effectiveness and for the safety of the product, there's nothing better you can use, but you got to use it while the plants are
Dormant.
Yes, dormant. That's what I'm going to focus on, is making sure to spray everything that there's any concerns about, whether it's a fruiting plant or if it's something else that just
Yep.
catches a few pest problems, particularly on the deciduous side. And there are other things like hollies and even broadleaf plants that can have some scale and those kind of things. One good spray with dormant oil goes a long way. It does wonders.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that's a
that's a
great
good
idea.
one.
I think the hardest thing, it's so hard to get the sprayer out when it's freezing outside.
But don't
go
wait
to
till
the
it's-
water, get the oil in it, mix it all up, go out and spray. Like that's a hard thing to do over the wintertime.
You
so
really
that's
need
a good
to.
one.
You got to kind of pick your day though. It needs to
Yeah.
be like in close to 50 degrees. So
Yeah.
there are days like that. I mean, we're fortunate here in Middle Tennessee, and we don't have like winter all winter. We have a lot of milder days, and
especially
so,
in February
well, and you
Yeah.
can do it that late,
Yes.
but you should get it done
while they're dormant.
probably by the early to mid February, and
Yeah.
you don't have to wait until then. You can get that
Yeah.
off your list right now.
That's right. All right. Great answer. Josh, you're up. What are you doing? What are you going to do better? Well, you already kind of said.
Well, I mean, I'm going to, with this great big project that's going to come on, I have to make sure that I take care of the rest of the beds and the landscape
Okay.
and the veggie garden.
Okay.
So time management is going to be critical for me.
So you're saying you're preparing a new bed and it's going to be massive, but you can't forget about the old ones and the weeds and all the stuff.
Yeah.
That's where you're going with that.
You got to dress them up. You got to keep them clean. You got to get the mulch back down.
Okay.
You got to get all that other stuff.
I'm all about that, keeping it clean.
Well,
Good one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean and again, I still have to work on. Last year, I said making sure that the plants get planted in a timely fashion.
Clean mine and clean shrub beds.
Yeah, right. Okay, sure. Just don't leave the beer cans out there, right? Okay, that's what you're saying. No, but I mean, getting the plants from the nursery into the ground as soon as you can possibly do it, instead of sitting them on the driveway.
Like me.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, there you go. I like it. Tyler Cam.
Management.
Tyler Cam.
Tyler, pay
I know
attention.
you're not
come.
thinking about. I know you're
I'm
not
here.
thinking about anything else.
No,
There he
no,
is.
not at all.
All right. What's your gardening resolution for this year?
I know he's got them.
I want to give more attention to my front yard.
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't given it enough. But I also have some projects that are in line with expanding my front beds and maybe even digging some more stuff out. So it's more like the saga continues for me.
Now, is that where you're going to go out if you're going to give real attention to your front of your house, just to go out to the curbside at the edge of the street and you know and salute right there to attention.
Stay at attention.
Attention.
Well, don't forget the grass, because it's nothing but a bunch of little plants out there in the front yard all the same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I think for many people, particularly as our yards continue to shrink,
Yes.
that the turf is becoming a less and less aspect of it, and that we're tending to expand on our other opportunities to grow things, be it ornamental crops or natives, which is a great area to really add some things into your landscape. That's that's another
Clovers.
New Year's thing, is to maybe incorporate some natives into the landscape.
Oh,
There you go.
I like that.
That's a great one.
And of course, take care of the fruiting plants you already have. So there's a lot of different ways to go with it.
There you go.
Okay. What about
All right.
Caroline?
All right, Caroline, you're up. Gardening
Mine
resolution.
is similar to Josh's. I tend to let my eyes be bigger than my stomach, if you will. I'll see all these plants that come in, and I buy a ton of them, and I'm not tending to my very many already well-established that need maintenance beds. So I'm going to try to, for one, get what I already have planted in the ground, because I still haven't done that, but then clean up my old beds, try not to start just buying a bunch of stuff because I love it and I want to see what it does, but really, really give attention to what I already have in the ground, transplant stuff that still needs to be transplanted, and not get too wild with buying things.
Okay.
So that's mine.
Well, that's a good one.
And I hope I can stick to it. It's going to be hard for me.
You can't stop buying plants.
Spring will be here before we know it, and I see all these things coming off the trucks, and I just, and there's so many new plants all the time.
Well, the difficulty this time of year is you get off work and it's dark before you ever
my
leave
gosh.
work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's minimal opportunity. It's very tough. So got to get a headlamp.
Yeah.
Get out there and garden.
Gardening headlamp
Gardening
is what I
headlamp.
recommend.
There you go. All right.
right.
Well, good answer.
What's yours?
What I'm going to do better in the gardening world. You know what?
What?
I'm going to switch it up.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
What?
I'm going to grow more fruit. That's a problem I've got in my yard. I do not have enough. Look, I literally prune fruit trees on the side over the winter for a living. Like, for a living. It's not for a living. It's something I do for
Yeah,
people.
but you say you do it on the side. You talking about side shearing, or you actually do it as a
He
Sideline
lays
sideline
on his side.
But I love pruning fruit trees, and I love pruning berry bushes and raspberries, blackberries, all
don't
this
have
stuff.
it.
And I don't have a lot of fruit in my yard.
Edible landscaping, baby.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I need to up my blueberry game. I
Do you
thought about
have
this
any
the other day.
blueberries?
None. No blueberries.
What a great
No.
hedge. Blueberry hedge is a great thing.
I know. It is
There's
great.
nothing
And
I mean, and you get blueberries.
exactly. And blueberries are still like cheap. Like you can get a little 1 gallon for like
Herbs.
$12,
Yeah.
you know?
Herbs,
I mean,
man.
I grow herbs and I grow a big garden. I mean, I'm
Okay.
growing vegetables. That's,
You do.
I'm doing all that.
We'll give you that.
But I need some peach trees.
Oh.
I need some peach. I love pruning peaches more than any other thing on the planet. Love peach trees, and I need one.
You have a perfect yard to have a little fruit tree grow.
I know, and I don't. So that's my resolution.
That's
there you
a
go.
good one.
Grapevine.
Honk in, honk out.
Yep.
Nailed it.
There we go.
That's
Okay.
everybody had a great one.
Yep.
I'll see if I actually stick to mine.
Me too.
Could
I'm
happen.
sure it will be fine.
It could happen.
It could happen.
could happen.
Hey, let's get some more questions in before we keep on going. We keep getting this one, but it got sent in. Can I still plant bulbs
Only the LEDs.
If you can find them.
if you can find them?
That's what we always talk about. I mean, a lot of people have already scooped up their bulbs for the year, already got them planted. I mean, we saw last week Colin already planted his bulbs, and his tulips are coming up already.
It was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
2
man, I'm
It all
losing,
runs
losing
together.
track of time.
I mean, we're in that weird time between Christmas and New Year.
You're right.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
Time does
happening.
not exist.
No, it doesn't. But anyway, no, it's not
It's
too late
like we're
if
in
you
a
can find
time warp or something.
Really? It's bizarre.
So strange.
them. Uh-huh. All right, plant your
When
bulbs.
would it be too late to plant these bulbs?
3:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That
feel
I
like
did set you up for that, but that wasn't a
But
plan.
you know, the thing of it is, the more to the question is that what happens if you plant them late? They bloom later.
Yeah.
And the bulbs we sell have been pre-chilled. Now, what that does is that builds in dormancy on the front end, which mitigates a lot of the negative effects of planting them too late. So they will still bloom effectively at the correct time. However, if they haven't been chilled, you're either going to greatly delay the bloom time or you're going to minimize it.
Yep.
So that can happen. They
Absolutely.
got to have time to store energy, and that's what that dormancy does. You know, so when you plant them, say back in November, you've given them all this time to be able. And of course, the downside of that is if we have really warm November, they may think that it's spring.
Yep.
So we
Like it
we
did
had
at
some,
Colin's house.
we had some strange occurrences such as that. So for us in our area, you know, you need to have some consistent cooler weather, and then any time after that to the end of the year generally is a great. So you got the rest of the day
Yep.
yeah.
and maybe Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe Monday.
Additional support for Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery and Garden Center, a third-generation nursery located in Nashville, Tennessee, and 20-time recipient for Nashville's Best Garden Center, offering the widest selection of new arrivals for fall, like specimen conifers, Japanese maples, and pansies in nearly every color. Open year-round, minutes from the heart of Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. Browse their selection online anytime at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
All right, when should I start warm weather vegetable seeds indoors?
Go ahead next week.
No.
Yeah, get it started.
Typically, most of the packets, anyway, and from my experience, it's going to be about 6 weeks before your average last frost. So, like for us, we set out our like tomatoes, peppers, those warm season things, typically April 15th into May 1st. You know, there's overlap there, obviously, depending on the weather here. But about 6 weeks before you want to set them out in the garden is recommended in your home.
Heat mat.
Heat mat,
Heat
tons
mat.
of light, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tons of light.
And
That's big. If you
the
don't
lack
have
of
enough.
light,
Very inexpensive too. I
the
mean,
lack
you
of
can get
light
like
is the
some-
single biggest
Problem.
issue.
Yeah.
And people will germinate tomato plants, like millions of them, and they wonder why they're 4 inches tall and they're laying on their side.
Right.
Well, it's been two things. The temperature has been too high, and the available light has been too low. You need high light and cool, very cool temperatures.
Cool.
If you see properly germinated springtime vegetable seeds, the tomatoes should be very short and have a very thick little stem on them.
Yep.
And you can do that without the use of a chemical growth regulator. Now, commercially, that's done a lot because it's hard to do those exact conditions when you have, thousands of square feet of greenhouse space. But what you can do at home is have a sunny room where it gets great sun, but keep the temperatures cool. You only want it to be like in the lower 40s if possible. You don't want there to be frost or freeze. You want them to germinate slowly and grow slowly. And if you do that, you'll have tough little short plants that will transplant
Kind of
well.
like you. Tough little short.
Tough little short plants. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Stumpy.
think that would be more me.
Oh. Stumpy? Did you
Stumpy.
you're going with the stump? Okay.
Yeah, I could be called Stumpy. I've been called worse.
Yeah.
Today?
We are a fun-loving
Group?
crew. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And we typically go through, well, Tyler, Austin, and Caroline work a lot on our social media stuff. They're always
Yeah.
engaged in that. And Tyler has prepared a segment here. It's coming up in just a bit. It's kind of the year in review.
Yeah.
And it gives a overview of what all is involved in that process and what all can go wrong in the process. You know, we're not one take wonders at all times, and sometimes those really create the best moments. So hope you'll enjoy that. We have any other questions that we want to get to before we
I think we're good to go ahead and go into this. I can't wait to see it.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you
Yes.
again for making 2024 a great year. We can't wait to get 2025 underway. And we look forward to seeing you next week right here on Gardening Inside Out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.